next speaker is Shri Gurumurthy ji. Shri S. Gurumurthy is a renowned chartered accountant and an investigative journalist. On one hand, he has this uncanny ability to spot seemingly small problems as some of the biggest challenges, while on the other hand, he provides pretty simple solutions to problems which are headlines for the media. He is a strong proponent of the traditional Indian economic wisdom, which was a part of every home and every village model, and at the same time he has been associated with some of the biggest corporate deals in India. A writer of integrity and courage, and having a strong sense of probity, Shri S. Gurumurthy regularly contributes articles to leading newspapers on issues that are of critical importance to the society and the country at large. His articles are of great stability and show authority over issues. Again, a question of the day, is India really in crisis, is looked at with a totally different perspective by Shri Gurumurthy ji. His unmatched ability to understand the global economic architecture and present it in a simple manner will inspire all of us to look at our national economy in a totally different vision. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Gurumurthy ji.
Mr. Vaidyanathan is a teacher of very high value. He was given the Best Teachers Award in Indian Student Management. And I am only a speaker. There is a difference. He can convey very profound thoughts through humor, which is a skill which is needed to cut across the maze of terminologies which are confusing and tormenting the people. But I am supposed to be a post-lunch speaker. Generally, nobody will accept an assignment post-lunch because people will sleep. But the way I raise my voice and shout, all the organizers say, post-lunch you should be the speaker because you will never allow anyone to speak. Sleep. So it is in that spirit perhaps, if you are fatigued and tired, that you should be listening and still not be casual about what is going on here. I have been chosen as the second speaker, otherwise Vaidyanathan should have been the second speaker. All of us are aware there is a crisis. Vaidyanathan said it's a crisis of US, but it is a crisis which the US has successfully exported to the rest of the world. There is a crisis. But was this crisis a surprise? And this is a surprise to economists. The greatest economists, Nobel laureates, who were trusted to give profound economic thoughts and theories and structures for the world, they were taken aback, they were shocked by the crisis. But it would not be a crisis for, as Vaidyanathan said, a householder or a housewife. I will try to make it good as to how this crisis struck the world. It is actually a crisis which was manufactured in the United States of America. I will just give some figures which will give an idea as to how the crisis incubated in front of our very eyes by economic theories which were formulated in the last 30 years or so. It is not a crisis which happened accidentally. It was a deliberated crisis. It was a crisis planned. But no one knew that this crisis was going to come. You see, in America, there are 11 crore households. There are 13 crore houses built. There are 2 crore houses which are unoccupied. And still more houses are being built. You must understand how economic growth is sustained by producing commodities, not only commodities, even houses. Such costly enterprise as houses are being produced in excess. 20 million houses are in excess. It is not that it became excess just now. It has been in excess for the last 20 years. Every year, the additional houses which were unoccupied, but still more houses were being constructed to sustain growth and employment. This gives you an idea as to how artificial that growth has been. And this growth has been achieved by what? This growth has been achieved by borrowing money. Look at what has been the borrowings of US in the year 1990. Approximately $11 trillion was the total borrowings of America. In 2000, it became $18 trillion. In 10 years, $8 trillion more. In the next 9 years is not yet complete, by the second quarter of 2009, it has become $34.4 trillion. $11 trillion, $18 trillion, and $35 trillion. In this, home mortgages constituted $2.5 trillion in 1990. It became $4.8 trillion in 2000. It became $10.4 trillion in 2009. A jump of nearly $6 trillion. But you see, the increase in home ownership between 2000 and 2009, in 2000, the home ownership was 67.5%. In 2009, it is 67.4%. There was absolutely no increase in the home ownership, but there was an additional lending of $6 trillion, and this is what became subprime crisis. You must understand how the crisis incubated. And this crisis, as I said, was planned. And it was planned by a philosophy, it was planned by a policy architecture, it was planned by making that as the model not only for the US but also for the rest of the world. So we must understand how this economic crisis incubated by making the people borrow. And this borrowing took place how? That is what I am going to explain to you now. This crisis came about by a model of life and behavior which translated into this economic crisis. Now, on 15th of September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed. That was the official announcement of the crisis. In November, the Der Spiegel magazine from Germany asked 5 Nobel laureates and told them, you please tell us what is the reason for the crisis. And also tell us what is the cure for the crisis. The Nobel laureates were Paul Samuelson, Rainer Sultan, Edmund Phelps, Robert Lucas, and Joseph Stiglitz. These were 5 Nobel laureates who were asked by the Der Spiegel magazine to explain what was the reason for the crisis and what is the remedy out of the crisis. It is available on the website, you can go and see. None of them could agree on what was the cause of the crisis, so there was no question of their agree on what is the remedy from the crisis. These were the people who formulated theories. These were the people who formulated policy architecture. And to them, the crisis was a shock and surprise. And they cannot lead the world out of this crisis today. And you look at what is the reason for the crisis. If you look at how the way the American economy had developed in the last 15-20 years,